Today, I'd like to talk about the next steps in reference to our building project here at Lebanon Baptist Church. Many of you know that over the last really 5 years, we have been kind of laying out a strategy to begin to discuss and really address many of the needs within our facility. In fact, I've been at Lebanon Baptist Church now for about 9 years. And over the course of that time, in many ways, we've deferred a lot of our maintenance until we had a master plan in place. And now it's been a couple of years ago, we laid out that first vision of that master plan. And then we've continued to do some enhancements with it. And just a little over a month ago, our congregation allocated a portion of our savings to begin to address some of those needs. And many of you are starting to see some of those. In fact, if you go out this way today, some of the new doors have been put in. You'll start to see some of the new windows on the far side of the building. And you'll see some stuff over here. You'll see paint samples on some of the exterior walls of the church. As expected, in order for us to be able to accomplish a lot of this work, our people are going to have to give. And we are going to be asking you that you would pray in reference to how you can be a part of this. We need to raise the funds. Of course, our church is really not the building. Our church is the people. Every week when I welcome you here, I say welcome to a gathering of Lebanon Baptist Church, not welcome to the church, because the church is the people. However, the building is something that is very important. It's a great meeting space. In fact, we use it for our weekly corporate worship, for teaching, for discipleship, for fellowship, prayer, outreach events, service to our community, and numbers of other ways. Our building is in many ways the base of operations and really our training facility. It is where most of what our mission, the training part of our mission takes place. And of course, it's kind of our local rescue mission to help reach the area of Roswell. And we want, as a church, to begin to create a space really for future generations. Many of us have been able to appreciate it over the last 25 years that we've been here. But for many of us, it's our point to maintain it and help and really get it ready for the next generation. And so to effectively do this, we've laid out this plan. As a pastoral staff, we have selected Mark to be on the building committee to help with the leadership there, as well as kind of being a liaison between us and the building committee. And so Mark's going to come and share a little bit about really what's been going on with all of that, and then I'll come back up one more time. Mark.
Thanks, Brian. Well, I am super excited about the plan that we have to address the needs of this building. And as Pastor Brian said, this building is not the mission, but it is the primary resource we use to help accomplish the mission here in Roswell. And we can't effectively send people out to the front lines to start churches and to help with other ministries if our training ground here needs some attention. And so we're really excited about addressing some of those needs to improve the efficiency of how we do ministry here, so that ultimately ministry can go out to the rest of the world. I like to think of the building as a tool that we wield, a resource that we wield in order to accomplish God's mission here. And I imagine it as much like an axe. And we have been using this axe for 25 years, and amazing things have happened inside of this building. As Pastor Brian said, people have been trained and sent out. Children and people have been baptized. People have been saved. My aunt was saved in this room during an Easter gathering. And part of what made that happen was actually we had a resource, this building. But we've been chopping wood, I guess, the wood of ministry with this axe for 25 years, and we've come to the conclusion that it really needs some sharpening in order to make it more effective. Some people think, well, is this all just about us? We're just trying to make a beautiful church so we can, almost like a vanity thing. It's not vanity at all. It is for efficiency and functionality. Yes, of course, as we do fix the problems in the building, we are going to try to make it look nice. We're not thinking, how can we make this look ugly? We're trying to think, how can we do this in a way that unifies and, yes, beautifies, but all of the decisions that have been made, you should know, are made to improve the effectiveness of what we do here. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what the plan is. And this building has a lot of needs. It's been 25 years since it's really had a real big overhaul like this. And so I'm excited about that. Some people say this has a lot of problems. I like to call it opportunities for growth and development, because all of the problems or challenges that we're facing with the building actually have really great solutions that are presented in what the building committee has put together. And as Pastor Brian said, I have the honor of serving on the building committee, but really I'm just a pretty face. They do all the work. The expertise that they bring, I can't tell you. I wish I could go through each one, but I'm telling you, what the committee that you ordained and set aside to do this, I have incredible confidence in, and I have thanked God for them many times throughout the course of this. So what are we going to do? I'm just going to give you a brief overview. I won't belabor everything, but there's going to be generally across the building updating stuff from hallways to carpets to bathrooms, etc. The three main areas that I'm really excited about is, number one, the children's wing. For the first time in the course of Lebanon, we will have a children's wing in which all of the classrooms are behind secured doors. And in this day and age, we really feel like that's an important thing, to have a secure children's wing that we can lock at the push of a button. And that's something that I think we all value, is the safety and security of our kids. It's also going to be much more, it's going to have a higher level of sanitation. It's going to be better in that area. For example, we're going to put sinks in every single one of the nurseries. And all God's nursery workers said, amen, okay? Because it's nice to actually, after you change a diaper, to have running water to wash your hands, to wash toys, to wash snack cups, and that has really limited us. In addition, we're going to add 2 larger bathrooms in that area. So now we no longer have to bring the kids out of the secure area, down the hall to a bathroom, clear the bathroom of adults, and then have them go use the restroom. We can actually just walk right down the hall to a bathroom located in a secure area where the only adults around are those that have passed our background check and safety security. So that is just going to be huge. But I'm also excited about the growth and space that we're going to put in that wing. It's hard to remember what we were like pre-COVID. But I remember, and right before it happened, I was getting many conversations, texts, phone calls, conversations in the hallway. Mark, we're running out of space. With this new plan, we're going to have the ability to potentially add a new nursery to kind of stop the bottleneck that's happening in the 2s and 3 nurseries. We're also going to create a larger space for the children to all meet together. So I'm really excited about the growth opportunities in children's ministry. The second area is this room. This room, if you think of what is the most important room in the building, it would probably be this room. This is the room where we all gather. And this is where we all worship together and we hear the scripture. And this room needs a lot of TLC, mainly in the areas of our equipment that is in the room. So we're running with equipment that is outdated and actually, if I'm honest, been set up incorrectly. We have struggled a lot with the technology, but the room itself wasn't built intentionally as an auditorium. It's a gymnasium. The plan was to move to an auditorium elsewhere. And so this room had not been acoustically treated. And one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this room is ready to receive the sound that comes out of the speakers so that you can hear the spoken word clearly no matter where you are. And so that'll be treating the room acoustically. It'll be putting in new equipment that can all be synchronized together. Right now, we've got a lot of what I would describe Band-Aids holding what we do together, and it would basically streamline everything into a nice, reliable system for this room. The final thing is that across the hall, we have some fellowship space. The third area is that fellowship space, or what I would call the hospitality space. The plan is to build an actual front entrance that is facing the road so that people actually know where the building entrance is. It's kind of funny. I was just talking with some friends here yesterday that are new members of our church, and they were like, "Do you remember where we parked? Where are we?" And it's like there's such a difficulty in finding out where to come. That new front entrance is going to be like a beacon that will attract new guests and visitors that will help us identify them. It'll also be a clear place for law enforcement and first responders to come to. We partner with the Roswell PD and the fire departments around here, and every time they give an evaluation of our building, they say, you need a front entrance. You need something that we can easily identify. That front entrance is going to be that. It's going to be a place of welcoming new guests, new future members to our assembly, you could say. And so it'll have a hospitality center, a lot of great stuff in there. But it'll also work as a overflow space for our fellowship. So pre-COVID, we were in those fellowship halls and we were running out of space. So we had to send people to four corners of the multiverse just to seat them in our building. That fellowship hall or that entryway space will actually be an overflow for fellowship so that we can actually host events here and all be together. So there's a lot of wonderful things that are going to be addressed. And instead of us being what I would call reactionary, problems breaking, which is kind of the mode we're in right now, is things are coming up and we're having to react. If we get these all done in this coordinated approach, we'll actually have more time to spend on actual ministry as opposed to fixing all the issues that are wrong with this building. And so I'm excited about the plan because it's coordinated and it's all coming together in such a way that ministry here will not be disrupted. You know what? We're still going to be discipling people throughout this process in this room. We're not going to cut back on missions. We're going to keep giving. We're going to keep doing what we do, what we believe. But in the process, through this coordinated approach, we're going to be able to grow and build for the future generations so that they might have a place where they can thrive as well. Pastor Brian.
Thank you, Mark. And just a reminder to all of you, even when we laid out our master plan, a lot of it was this. We're not planning to build a new auditorium or anything like that. Our plan has been that this building suits us. We do want to add a little bit of a lobby, but really to be able to not stop helping plant churches in Roswell and in all the different areas around greater Atlanta, to be a part of that, but also utilize this in the best way possible. At this time, I'm going to ask, we have a number of our ushers who are here. They're going to begin to pass out a little card to all of kind of our giving units. If you give as a couple, maybe one of you raise your hand. If you're a normal giver as an individual, please raise your hand. They're going to give you all a card. So raise them up real quick if you'd like one. And I'm going to explain this card in just a moment. And it kind of will tell you how we're going to, you could say, divide this pie up over the next number of months. First of all, I want you to look at one particular side of the card, which is basically you'll see the giving estimator at the top, but then there's a paragraph that really tells you that 25 years ago, God gave us this facility and how after years of using it, we need to take some new steps to prepare for future ministry. And of course, many of you know, we've already started on Sun. We allocated around $500,000 out of our savings, and we're already beginning to do that. And we also have more funds within our savings that we can allocate toward this particular project. However, we don't have enough to do it all. And the projected cost of the project, as we've kind of just done the estimates, is around $3.5 million. Of course, we're continuing to try to sharpen the pencil. And our goal is through this campaign to build momentum and try to raise as much as we can over the rest of this year through kind of a kickstart campaign. And then raise the remaining amount over the next number of years. And what I'd like for you to do now is to flip the sheet over, and you'll see the other side of the card. And this is where you're welcome to write your name and your email. Some of you may want to give through a stock donation. But really what I'd like for you to do as a church family is this. Would you begin to pray what you can do initially to help with this project? And on May the 16th, we are going to have a special Sacrifice Sunday offering where you can give kind of an initial gift. You may not be able to give on that day, but maybe it's over the rest of this year. You can commit, God, with your help, here's at least a lump sum I'd like to give this next 6 months in reference to this project. But then what can you give over the next 2 years in addition to your regular giving? Maybe you give weekly or monthly, or maybe you give yearly. Say, God, with your help, I'd like to strive to do this over this next year. And then what will happen is on May the 16th, we want you to hold this card, pray about what God could do with you in being a part of this project. And then on May the 16th, you'll see the little perforation on there. You get to keep one side to be a reminder to you what you are asking the Lord with his help to give. And then the other part, the commitment, is really for you to put in the offering plate that day. Believe it or not, we will pass an offering plate that day, I believe. Or we'll have you just drop it in different boxes. But this will just let us know when we believe the funds will come in. Just so you know, our plan and our way of taking this is we plan to pay for this as we go. It has been a tremendous blessing to be a part of a church that has had no debt. We own everything you see, and we have a good amount of money in the bank, and God has blessed us with that. And we would love to be able to keep it that way and be able to just, as the Lord provides the first section, we'll finish the children's wing, and then we'll move to the auditorium. And then the last priority would be the lobby, but it would be wonderful to be able to complete it all together, but we'll handle it as God leads each of you. And so let me encourage you to be praying about this. And our hope is this. This is a side thing where us just taking care of our particular place of meeting. But I do not in any way want to lose the unity that God has provided in this church, and that we in no way lose sight of what our mission is, and that's to make disciples of Jesus for the glory of God. And so we're not having this big, pressurized, give campaign, but we are telling you, we want you to pray. What can you do initially, and what can you do, let's say repeatedly, to be able to be a part of just being a steward of what God's given us, and really to help further the gospel for the next generation.